Hi, I'm glad. I want to talk about the final project that's due week. The final project is 30% of your grade, so it's important, and it's integrated with the week 3 bibliography and the week 5 presentation. In other words, each of these builds towards the final project. Um, Also in week 9, UO9D1, the discussion question, you'll post a draft of your final project along with a self-evaluation so that others can read it and make comments to you about it. Your final paper will be due on Friday. That's December 13th at 5 p.m. and that's the last day of the class. Right, the content requirements for this paper. It's the title is Applying Theory to Practice, so you can do that in different ways. You can research the origin and foundational theories of a subfield. In other words, do a deep dive in a subfield. You could select a career path like training and development, or an emerging trend within the IO psychology specialization, such as virtual teams. You get to select a topic, so that should be exciting. You can research a topic that you have passion for. The actual writing requirements are 8 to 10 typed double-space pages, and that's not counting the title page or the references. You'll use Times New Roman 12-point font. It's required a minimum of 7 peer-reviewed sources, and the text could be considered one of those. And of course, you'll use APA 6th edition format, and I'll get into that more specifically. Oops, let me get it back up here. The final paper structure. And when I say structure, I'm referring to your level 1 headings in your final paper. Now, some students write an entire paper and never use a heading, and it really makes it hard for me to find the required elements. It's much easier if you use these headings or use this structure for your level 1 headings. So start off with have a title page. Then the first level 1 heading would be introduction. And notice in the introduction you should have, it should include an assessment of the competencies needed within this discipline. It's important that you cover competencies. Then you do a literature review on your selected topic. It's what's called, the next section is called a theory evaluation. Then there's a description of each of these in the week 10 assignment. Then you have your actual applying theory to the practice, ethical standards, and your references. So these are the sections that you want to cover. The grading rubric that I have to use to evaluate your paper has 4 sections in it. 1, applying theory to practice, and I can rate those 1 to 4. Assess the did you assess competencies? 1 to 4. Demonstrate integration of ethical standards? 1 to 4. And then writes in a manner that reflects graduate level form and style. So you want to make sure you address these areas. I would like for you to use the Turnitin review or post your paper to the Turnitin review in the classroom, and then post the link to the review with your paper in week 10 to the assignment drop. Any copied content from any source must be shown that it's quoted content, and you do this by either using quotation marks or block quote format. The rule is if it's 40 words or more, use block quote format. It's 39 words or less, use quotation marks. And provide an in-text citation for the source and include the page number. If there is no page number, then include the paragraph number. Some common APA format rules. And these are based on what I see the most errors that I most frequently see. Number one, use 2 spaces between your sentences. This is done in APA now with longer papers. Include the page number in the citation when you quote. And I say once again, if there's no page number, use the paragraph number. Use a comma after the last entry before the word "and" in a series. Now this is an APA requirement. I know it's grammatically correct to not use the comma, but APA does use the comma. So I count off if you don't. Also, APA writing style uses a jagged right margin, so do not use the right align margin function. Also, I'm having troubles with this, sorry. With numbers, for the number 10 and higher, or if you're representing units of time, like months, years, use numbers. If it's 9 and below, then you spell it out. Use the word "and" in your narrative text. Use ampersand in citations and references. Include an in-text citation. Include the in-text citation as part of the sentence. Sometimes I see students, they'll put a period before the citation, leave the citation out by itself. Place punctuation marks inside of quotation marks. That's like periods, question marks. Common rules, APA rules in the reference section. The APA 6th edition requires the city and the 2-letter abbreviation for the state for all publisher locations, including New York. That was a change from the 5th edition. Only use 1 space after all punctuation in the reference section. Only use italics for publication titles. This would be like journal titles and book titles. It's not used for websites. You must, with a journal article, you must include the DOI. And if there is no DI, because not all of them have DOIs, then include a retrieval statement. And I list this internet site, which is really handy. It looks up DOIs, or if there is no DOI, it'll tell you there's no DOI, and then you can do the retrieval statement. When you do a retrieval statement, just list the name of the database. So it'd be like retrieve from ProQuest Psychology database. That's all you have to say. Because it doesn't do any good to list a URL. They don't work on password protected sites anyway. And so this is an overview of the final paper. It's once again it's 30 points. So you want to try to follow this structure and take advantage of the peer review in week 9. Thanks.